Hello everyone, and welcome back to Illumination English. I'm Leah, and this is Learning English with Leah. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at a kind of music a little off the beaten trail, so to speak. It's about music, but in a different format than we've been doing in previous lessons. So I think you'll look forward to that. Let me just remind you of a few things before we jump in. That this lesson is broken up into 3 parts. First part for pronunciation. Second part, we're focusing on vocabulary. And the third part, we're going to do a knowledge check. I would ask you that if you like what you're seeing, like these lessons, please give me a like and subscribe and comment as well. That's really important for maintaining a YouTube channel. So please consider all those things. And now let's get into our lesson. All right, let's get into this first part of our lesson on pronunciation practice. We're going to be looking at a different format for our reading. You'll see it's in the format of an interview. So you can see the different readers or speakers in this interview. We've got the podcast host here, and we've got the person being interviewed, a Professor Guilford, just a name I made up. And the title for today's reading is Mystifying Music. So you'll see why, well, y'all know this word, music. Mystifying, it's like mysterious, something that you can't understand. If it's mystifying, it means it's beyond your comprehension. So I'm going to just read both parts out as if I were reading lines from a script, and you can follow along as usual. You don't need to read these parts that say, the names of the people. PH, remember where you see that is the podcast host. PG is Professor Guilford. Sorry. So you'll just read the actual lines here. And keep in mind as you read, of course, these are our target vocabulary words. A little different. Again, I said off the beaten path. Yes, this article is a little different than normal. That's what that means. Off the beaten path is to do something different. Okay, let's get started. Again, remember, listen to me read first, and then rewind or go back in the video and watch it again and try to read along with me, adjusting the speed as necessary and trying to imitate all the phrasing, intonation, stress, and so forth that you heard in the first listening. All right, let's get started. Professor Guilford, can you tell our listeners a bit more about your latest research in the field of euphonics? Well, you know that music is all around us, so I'm currently exploring music found in nature. You mean like soundscapes? Sort of, but a bit more out of this world. Have you ever heard of music of the spheres? Yes, but I thought that was just some ancient Greek myth. Well, Pythagoras did find connections between mathematics and musical tones, but he went too far when he said the movements of celestial bodies produce something like ambient music. Yeah, isn't it impossible for sound to travel in outer space? I mean, it's a vacuum, right? Correct. In space, there are no air particles to carry sound vibrations to the ear. Thus, no sound. What our team is investigating is the possibility of sound waves on other planets, such as Mars and Mercury, which contain traces of oxygen. Fascinating. Well, keep us posted on what you find, Professor, and thank you for coming into the studio today. All right, that was our interview article for today. I hope you thought that was a little different and interesting. In our next lesson, we're going to be looking more in depth at our target language. So joining me, please, in part 2. Join me in part 2 for more vocabulary work. We'll see you there. Bye for now.